Could you imagine being like the first people to ever explore this land, having to fight your way through it with like a machete or a makeshift machete or small knife? I don't know how anybody made it. If I was the first person that would have been exploring this place, I would have like got back on my boat or got back on the road or however I got there and said, no, I'm going somewhere else. This isn't worth it. Good afternoon, folks, and happy Saturday. Today is going to be day 70 working down here at the ranch. Well, it is a hot one, folks, so I kind of waited a little bit later in the afternoon to come out. But it's a little bit shaded right now and it's feeling pretty good. First thing I want to say is welcome into my new subscribers. I appreciate you checking me out and following along with me here. I tend to mix up my words in my videos a lot. The other day I was saying game trail instead of trail cam and following along with me and all this other nonsense. But anyway, besides all that, I appreciate all the new subscribers, appreciate comments and likes. Today we're gonna be getting off the side quest and getting back to the main mission. I met up with the well guy on Tuesday, and today's Saturday. I think I said that already, but he is thinking that we may try to put this well right in this area right here. That's the hope. And if that is the case, his son also does septic. So we got to talking, and the septic has to be 100 feet away from the well. And what that would end up doing is basically putting it somewhere over in this area. Well, as you can see, I've got a lot of thick woods right there in that area. So what we were going to try to do today, and I did get the new ignition put into my DR Pro 30. So we may end up using a little bit of the tractor, a little bit of the brush hog, probably the Sawzall. I'm probably going to use a little bit of everything, but we need to get this area behind me cleared out a little bit, opened up, and hopefully down to just the big trees. Once it's kind of just down to the big trees, I'm either going to have to probably rent a piece of equipment or get somebody in here to get rid of the big trees. Speaking of big trees and getting rid of them, my cousin and I came down last night and we grilled up some burgers and basically just kind of hung out. I haven't really come down in a long time and just relaxed, except for maybe the camping video that I did. But even then I was kind of working pretty good to get these posts in the ground, which, by the way, I got to get this post set back up. It fell over, but I did not want it close to the fire over here. So we'll get that set back up eventually. This is actually burned out quite a bit, which is good. Probably when it kind of gets cooled down a little bit more. My worry is I don't want to drive my tractor in there and then those coals still be like super hot and burn up my tires. But I need to kind of get in there and push this all into a little bit of a tighter pile. I have a feeling it's going to smolder for quite a little while. So I may at some point just kind of get on the edges here and push some of that into there and try to get some more of it burned out. But that was definitely that was a big fire, folks. I was a little bit nervous there for a minute, but luckily it's all pretty much cleared out in here and it did exactly what I needed it to do. With all that being said, I'm gonna get the tractor fired up. I'll probably get the brush hog pulled out of the shed here, have it on standby ready to go. We're gonna try to push into this area a little bit and see if we can get it opened up. Day 70. Here we go. All right, folks. We're gonna try to push right through here, see if we can make it through. If not, I'll probably go in backwards and see if we can get some of it cut up out of there, and then see if we can open it up a little bit more. Here we go. And here we go indeed. Face first back into the brush, folks. Not knowing what's in front of us, but we're going anyway. It was going pretty well right at first. But then all of a sudden I hit a big branch, and then, yep, I got this huge thorn vine right on my shoulder, right on my neck there. So I had to gently get that out of the way. And I decided to get on out of there. I think I probably should have just gone in there backwards in the first place, but most of you already know I have a hard time doing the right thing the first time anyways. The truth of the matter is, I don't know if it matters whether I was going in there forwards or going in there backwards. These trees did not really want to give up any space at all. I had a feeling we were going to be in for a fight, but not nearly as much of a fight as we got today. At some point in time, folks, I won't be in such a hurry to get everything done down here. I won't be cutting up those big trees and throwing them in a burn pile. I'll be trying to turn them into firewood. But the reality is I have to get myself set up in a situation where I'm ready to start building something so I can be living down here on a more permanent basis, if you will. Just about fell down. And at the same time, I need to take my time and try not to rush, because let's just pretend that pulling that tree out of the ground did make me fall down. I'm getting way too old to just be falling down out here in the woods, folks, especially when it's like 250 degrees outside. So every now and then I need to just slow down and stop trying to rip trees out of the ground. I would like to make a quick note to myself. Dear self, pick one camera and stick with that one camera. You have a hard enough time getting one video lined up the way that it should be. Trying to do two of them and syncing them up is not exactly in your wheelhouse. But anyway, folks, I decided to try to keep working this little corner over here. I was really trying to find a new, maybe less dense area that I could start getting into and opening this thing up, but I'm not even kidding, folks. It seemed like every time I turned around, I was smashing into some big tree or running over some big root system. So I kept noticing right here on the corner that I felt like there was a little area I was going to be able to push on through to. And as you can see, I kind of get a start right there. I hit a bit of a hill. Couldn't quite figure out what that was. So I decided I was going to go ahead and come over here around the corner. I just about took out a tree there. I wasn't trying to. But I decided to come on around the corner here and see if I could go ahead and push through this other side. And that just about caused a lot of trouble. This little part wasn't so bad, but as soon as I got up on top of this hill, I realized I'd run into something that my brush hog did not necessarily like running into. And then I also realized I had about half of a tree kind of stuck in between my bucket in the frame there that I had to try to see if I could figure out how I was going to get that off of there without having to get myself up off the tractor. Well, I found part of my problem. There's a big tree stump right in there. I think it's kind of under that flap that I sat down. So I'm gonna cut a couple of these up out of the ground, get those cleared out. I'm gonna try to brush hog in and around this just a little bit. And then I gotta get that big cluster out. I tried to push it out of there. That's when I ran into the tree stump there. Well, I'm not gonna lie, folks, this is putting up a fight in here. Everything seems kind of, again, kind of tied in together. So it's like if you're trying to take down one tree, you're trying to take down about 4. That, I think that log's a little bit bigger than I realized too. But we got most of this knocked out of here. I just need to get it hauled over to the burn pile. Let's see if we can do that in a timely fashion. Oh, okay. Well, there's that. I don't know if the camera's still going. All right. Yeah. My cousin and I were talking about this last night, folks. Like, what are we doing? What do we got going on here? This is going to be a fight, tooth and nail. And like, there's definitely bigger forestry equipment out there, but I can't afford it. I would like to rent something one weekend, but I think the reality is me renting it, not exactly knowing what I'm doing. I might be better off just paying somebody to come out and do it. This is definitely a fight. Yeah. I've got about 6 more piles like that I need to drag over to here. Get some of this back into there. It finally collapsed. I was waiting for it. It didn't happen. It must have happened last night after we left. All right, I'm gonna take a break for a minute. It's only about 200 degrees out here. Could you imagine being like the first people to ever explore this land, having to fight your way through it with like a machete or a makeshift machete or small knife? I don't know how anybody made it. I don't know that I've ever been anywhere that has woods this thick, where like stuff grows in every single centimeter of ground that it can grow. I would say the closest would be, I went hiking near the Everglades long time ago, and you could not go left or right. You had to stay on the trail in most spaces, in most of the places along the trail. You had to stay on the trail. And I think that if I was the first person that would have been exploring this place, I would have like got back on my boat or got back on the road or however I got there and said, no, I'm going somewhere else. This isn't worth it. But seriously, it's I feel like I've been working on that for about 30 minutes now, and like it looks like I've hardly done anything. And you know, you see all this stuff's ready to cut again. That over there is ready to cut again. It's a fight, and we got all that rain, so all that rain pretty much just made this stuff skyrocket. So I don't know if I'm gonna go back to the small brush hog. The truth is I'm actually getting the trees popped up easily enough. It's just everything's so thick that it just grabs the tractor and like wraps around it, and then it kind of like tries to pull me into the woods and you know, make me part of the woods basically. So it's kind of like backing the brush hog in is a little bit easier. At the same time, I have to kind of knock down some of these bigger trees because that brush hog there it doesn't like to fight with them bigger trees. But I'd love to get my hands on like a skid steer with a mulch drum, or I looked into that forestry tiller or forestry cultivator, and I mean that thing just, whatever's in its path is gone, including stumps that are in the ground. And like right now, that's my biggest problem, is that there's a big stump right there in the ground. So I need to get it uncovered. I need to kind of expose it so I can get a good look at it. But we're gonna keep on pushing in here right now with the tractor. We're gonna see if we can cut some of these trees out of here. And I just need to open up an area big enough where they can get in there and put in a septic tank. They'll have some sort of an excavator. So, you know, I imagine anything that's too big in the way they can get rid of. But I gotta take me a break. It's like 200 degrees outside if I didn't say that already. Here we go. Well, we're not gonna get anything done just sitting around, folks. So let's see if we can get a couple of these trees cleared out of here. It seems like I kind of broke up most of it. I just got to kind of drag it out of here at this point. But that right there is a huge stump. I bet it's almost as big as that one over there we got, that we fought with a few months back. We'll see if we can get us a nice little pile of this stuff here. But for the most part, I'm knocking the trees up out of the ground. But again, like here's another, that right there is a pretty big stump. I don't know if you can see it. I'll try to look down at it. That's a big root right there coming out of there. That's in there pretty good. This stuff is thick, folks. Yeah, that's not loose. That's loose enough. Oh, this must be what I hit. I just felt it. Yeah. There's a big one right there. I feel like that's what I hit a minute ago, and the old brush hog didn't like it too much. Any of that broke loose? No. See, like all this is like still inside that, still stuck in that stump there. Whew. Goodness. I got myself into a fight now today. This one here, like, it just snapped right off when I hit it. Well, never mind. It didn't. I thought it did. Nope, I'm gonna have to cut that one out. It snapped right over. See if we can fight our way back in here. But yeah, so here's another. It's just you get into these clusters right here, and there's 3, 4, 5. Those are tough to pop up out of there. And they don't like to get ran over either. So I may have made more of a mess than I wanted to. I might try to come in from this side. It's actually why I thought this might not be too bad, because I came in on that other side the other day and didn't have too many troubles. But all this stuff needs to be cut out of here. All right, I'm gonna run this to the burn pile. We may go to the other side and see if we can open that side up a little bit, see what happens. Well, I'd be a liar if I didn't say I might feel a little bit defeated here. This kind of goes up a little bit, but that's so tangled up in there that I think I would just cause myself some trouble. There's just so many of these bigger trees in there that I can't really take down with the cutter there. This is really thick over here, and it has a ton of these trees and the little tree clusters. Just doesn't seem like there's a really good way to get into there. And I said the other day, I'm like, yeah, I probably won't come this way. My property line's not too far that way. But like right there doesn't look too bad. But there's a big ditch right in here. Just not sure, folks. Just not sure. I mean, I think I could push through that just a little bit, but basically then if I did, I'm right back into that thick stuff where I was just at. And it kind of goes up on a hill. So that kind of causes me some trouble. Causes me some problems. I may just have to think on it a little bit. I'm not sure that tractor's got enough oomph to get in to all this really thick stuff. Now I could get my little brush hog and just kind of clip it a little bit, but either way I think I'm gonna have to cut down a whole bunch of trees. So this is what I was looking at a second ago. If you look right in here, there is a whole bunch of trees. I mean a bunch of way bigger trees than some of them bigger than these laying on the ground here. So that's not going to be a good place to get into. And I'm trying to think, I've got to be 100 foot from wherever they put the well in. And it's almost like there aren't even any little game trails going through here. Now I said that right this time. I don't even see where the animals are coming through this stuff at. It's just so thick. That right there is dense. You know, right there actually looks like a little bit of a game trail, but it's not very wide in there. There's some pretty decent sized trees in there. I don't know, folks. I don't know if I'm gonna keep fighting that fight today. I'll have to think on it. There we go. I'll try to cut down a couple of these trees out of here and at least get this opened up a little bit. Even the little bitty ones want to fight.
Part of me feels like I might have been in a little bit better shape if I would have just started with my smaller brush hog. Mostly because it would have helped me kind of get rid of all this little smaller stuff around the bigger trees. And then I could have just kind of gotten right in there and cut down the trees I needed to cut down, because even these were hard to get cut completely out of the ground because they were so entangled with the rest of the rooting system in there.
All right, I'm going one more round with the old reliable here. We're gonna see if we can get a little bit more of this opened up. Even if I can, if you can't see, I am drenched in sweat. I'm running out of drinks already. Sun's kind of getting behind the clouds now, so that's gonna help a little bit, but I just got this thing back up and running, so we're gonna give it a go. Here we go.
Well, I won't lie, folks. I was pretty excited to get the old DR Pro back out. It had been pretty much dormant for most of the winter. And then, I pretty much about gave myself a heart attack because I ended up smashing into that root that I'd completely forgot was there. But the old DR Pro 30 is pretty tough, folks, so I got her fired back up. Got to put in a little work on it today. It actually did pretty good getting some of that stuff along the edges cut out. Again, kind of like I said a few minutes ago, I feel like I might have been better off if I would have gone ahead and started with this rather than the tractor, because I feel like we might have caused a little bit more of a mess than we actually did much good as far as the tractor goes. Live and learn, folks. That's what I say.
Well, folks, day 70. I will say that I do not think that I won the day. I think nature pretty much had its way with me today. Between the heat and the trees and the tree stumps, the vines, the mosquitoes, and everything in between, I did not win today. But we did get a little bit of this opened up. Not near as much as I was hoping. I got to figure out something about that. I'm pretty sure it's a big tree trunk. I'm pretty sure it's just like this big tree trunk over here. And I think what happened was I went in there and I hit a tree, popped it out of the ground, and I pushed everything over the top of it. But there's that big stump there. I think that's what's in there right there. So I tried to get up there with the small brush hog, the DR, and it didn't really want to take that hill at all. One thing that I was reminded of with the DR is you got to be paying attention, because when you go into this stuff, them vines will grab a hold of your handles, and next thing you know, you can't let go, you can't back up. And I also hit this root that was going across here, that little tree stump that was sticking out of the ground. It shut it down. It came back up, but it did actually knock it up out of the ground, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. But I think the mindset that I have to come in with next time is I need to get in here with the DR Pro, get all the small stuff I can get, and then try to come in and pop whatever trees up out of the ground that I can pop up out of the ground. Basically, I don't know if you can hear these mosquitoes, they are nasty. But I'm just gonna have to come in with a better game plan. I really thought I was gonna just be able to run up in there and run that stuff over, get it opened up, and that was not the case. I did get this little area cleaned up, and believe it or not, I kind of leveled it out a little bit in some areas where it was low. That's one thing I do like about that brush mower. It gets into that stuff, and it kind of popped up a few of these little roots out of the ground, so that's good. The other thing I remembered is that brush hog, if it's not fairly tall, it's not going to cut it. So all this stuff that I thought maybe I was going to be able to use the brush hog on, I think I'm back to the weed eater. Folks, I appreciate you following along with me on this journey, day 70. We've had a lot of tough days out here at the ranch. I think today was a pretty tough one. Between the heat and everything just not really cooperating, not going as well as I was hoping it would go. Yeah, it's okay though. It's gonna be a fight all the way, and I think just every now and then I'm gonna have to probably pay somebody to come out here and do the heavy hitting for me until I can afford my own big machinery that can come in here and just plow this stuff down, level it out, get it out of the way, stumps and all. I hope everybody's having a great weekend. I'm not sure when I'm going to get back down here. I know they're talking there might be a little tropical depression getting ready to form in the Gulf, which would kind of suck because in order for the well guy to get in here, it's got to be nice and dry. He's got to bring 2 big trucks up in here. So hopefully the rain holds off. If it does hold off, I'll probably be back down sometime this week after work. We'll come in with a different game plan. I still need to I really still need to open up as much of this little area as I can. I feel like this right in here is about where the septic tank's going to be. They're going to have to run some fill lines in 100 foot in one direction or the other. So it's going to basically come down to how quickly the well comes in, and then how quickly I can get this cleared out and get a septic tank in. After that's done, folks, I'm ready to start building. I'm ready to start building and having somewhere that I can go inside the air conditioner for 30 minutes, get me a cold drink, watch some Scooby-Doo or something, and then come on back out and go to work, change my clothes, because now I'm soaking wet and it's time to go home. It's time for a shower. We'll catch y'all next time. Appreciate you.